Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Smash the like button. If you love me, subscribe if you're new. Please have your say. A very good evening to Saturday Night Live with Mick here on Movies TV Mad. Whoa! What a disaster for the Flash movie. A $60 million bomb. Movies that are better than The Great Dictator or The Godfather or Superman the movie or The Dark Knight don't bomb at $60 million. The best CBM you've ever seen, Mr. Zaslav. I'm never going to let you forget that. James Gunn, one of the best CBMs you've ever seen. You liar. You all lied. You are bad salesmen. Don't say I didn't warn you all. I said this movie should have been shelved. I said all of these movies should have been shelved. Now, some people are blaming James Gunn for hyping up the new DC universe while these old movies were being released. Let me tell you something right now. Gunn and Safran and DC Studios shouldn't have been announced till after these movies were done. Hamada shouldn't have left till after these movies were done. He should have had to have taken responsibility for these disasters, and he didn't. This is a predictable clusterfuck. And for those of you who are shocked and dismayed by what's happened, and this box office news, your heads must be up your backsides. This was a disaster from day one. Because guess what? Zack Snyder didn't direct Wonder Woman 84, Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad, Black Adam. Talking about Black Adam opened up higher than the Flash movie. Black Adam is a better film than the Flash movie. Black Adam has a better score and it has much better presentation and VFX. And karma is a bitch. The karma of the way they treated Snyder, the way they continue to treat Snyder, the way they disrespected Man of Steel in the Flash movie. Because if you're going to tread in Man of Steel, you better make sure you have you do it in a good way. No one could replicate what Snyder did in Man of Steel, but they did it. They decided to do a Flashpoint movie that tears to pieces the source material. Nobody's saying that you have to copy and paste this movie. I saw the movie. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was a horrible movie, but I've just been watching the Snyder Cut tonight, and that's a better version of Barry Allen than in the Flash movie as well. Please smash the like button. Let's drown our sorrows. Let's hold each other up, because as DC fans, it is disastrous. This ridiculous company continues to get it wrong. And there's some people who believe that James Gunn can wave his magic wand about and save everything and solve all the DC problems. The truth is this. Joker made $1 billion. The Batman made $750 million. Give DC back to auteurs like Reeves, Phillips, Snyder, and Nolan. Nolan had a successful trilogy. Snyder did better with his movies than these donkeys did with these movies. And, you can puke up a bunch of bright colors and gags, but you're never, ever going to fool the public. The public are your bosses. You are the bitches to us, the fans, and you failed. The best movie ever? Really? Better than The Dark Knight? Better than The Great Dictator? Better than The Godfather? Really? Kal-El, good evening, Mick. A very good evening to the last son of Krypton. Thank you for the like. You've got manners. What about the other two who are in the chat? Why aren't I getting a like from you? What have I done wrong? Have I slept with your wives? Maybe I have. I don't know. I definitely haven't slept with your husbands, by the way, if you're women. We need to get women on this channel. Kal-El, imagine if The Flash is outperformed by Black Adam. Well, the opening has been outperformed by Black Adam. McRib Prime, just joined. Keep your hair on, lol. I ain't got any to keep on. Well, I have under my arms. Blue Tel Calm. Blue Telly Can. I'm confused because I thought you loved the test screening you saw. I liked the test screening I saw. I liked the Flash movie, but it wasn't. It wasn't The Godfather. I never said it was Superman the movie. I never said it was the Dark Knight trilogy. So what are you actually confused about? Kal-El, McRib, because this is the point, right? These people are incompetent. McRib Prime, 64% critic rating, 79% audience, score a B cinema score, and not one but two Ezra Miller, according to the delusional WB executives, the greatest comic book movie ever made, lol. Exactly. It's embarrassing. Oh, all of you lot was saying, well, it must be at CinemaCon because they're confident in it, because they were confident in Top Gun Maverick over at Paramount, so it must be the same thing. It's a disaster. That's why I've had to watch the Snyder Cut tonight to, clean my soul, because that film is special. The Flash movie is okay. The Flash movie is watchable. It's not a horrible movie by any stretch of the imagination, but the presentation is terrible. And we'll never really know how damaging Ezra Miller was to this movie. You see Ezra in the Snyder Cut, and this person seems at ease with their performance. So something deeply profound happened to this person. Something tells me if Snyder was still at DC, he would have taken care of Ezra, and this would never have happened. John, just sent you a like. Thank you very much. I've caught it. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the hate. You can't be successful if a few idiots don't hate you. But it's a disaster. It is an absolute embarrassing disaster. It's a sham. And make no mistake, Zaslav and company are panicking. And don't be surprised if they make some reactive decisions. Of course, they're going to throw Ezra under the bus. This movie hasn't failed because of Ezra Miller. This movie was always going to fail. This movie was just a tool to move away from the Snyderverse, to disrespect the Snyderverse, right? So now it's all eyes on James Gunn. But actually, the next big movie is Joker 2. Forget about Blue Beetle. By the way, there's some news on Blue Beetle. The director says they're planning a trilogy. Let's see how that works out. And, they're part of the big plans. They've jumped off the Titanic and they're on the new universe, but will the movie still sink? Kal-El, Flush, Trash Point. Blue Telly, Cam. I think we all know who you are, but anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed it despite its problems. I think the CGI hyperbolic statements from Zazie and Gunn and the Ezra shenanigans have thrown the film under the bus. Well, no one can throw something out under the bus, right? At the end of the day, the audience are not dumb. And here is the problem, Blue Telecam, or whoever you actually are. Here's the truth, right? This is the 6th DCEU movie to fail. The audience are never wrong. So you can willy measure with Rotten Tomatoes. You can do whatever you want. These are the facts of the matter. Since Snyder's gone, this franchise has disintegrated. Snyder had an exciting plan, but because it was different, because he was an auteur, because he was a visionary, we started this franchise with visionaries like Christopher Nolan, David Goyer, and Zack Snyder. We ended up with Andy Muschietti, and he's been rewarded with this bomb by getting a Batman movie. You couldn't fucking make it up. McRib Prime fired and treat Henry Cavill like absolute crap. A gentleman and a role model, absolutely. Yet they retained, protected, and offered public support to a vile, pathetic stain who's attacked and threatened people. Couldn't have said it better myself. Kal-El, what do you think of this 4-hour cut of The Flash? Is this more mockery of Snyder? I don't believe what we saw is Andy Muschietti's movie. We know the Air movie we saw wasn't the Air movie. We know Justice League wasn't the Snyder movie. It's just more of the same. They keep on repeating the same mistakes. It's ridiculous. Kal-El, what do you think? Oh, no, I've read that. John, did you see the new picture of Blue Beetle? I did, and I liked it. McRib Prime, the Luke and Abby were doing the right thing. Black Adam, while not brilliant, was a step in the right direction, and Gunn destroyed the lot. Yeah, in a minute, we'll talk about that. Blue Telecam, long time watcher, Mick. First time I've been able to join live. Well, you're more than welcome. Absolutely more than welcome. Anyone's welcome here. Everyone, try and be respectful of each other. Don't mind you not being respectful of me. I've got thick skin. Look at it, thick skin. Look at those muscles, right? But you're always welcome here. But at least treat each other in the chat respectfully. We have a good little community here. I enjoy coming on live. I don't want to be put off from coming live. I enjoy it myself. McRib Prime, but not thick hair, lol. No, not thick hair, my friend. I'm not bald, actually. I do shave it. I just prefer it like this because I'm going grey. I'm receding. So it's not a good look. And the women love grabbing hold of the bald head while I'm giving it some. Do you know what I mean? So it's really great. So anyway, it's another disaster, right? The best movie ever made. Remember that? Who believed that? Which one of you? But any of you believed that this was The Dark Knight or Superman the movie? McRib Prime, lol. Who believed the bullshit? I warned you when they came out of CinemaCon and they were professing the hype is real. And I came on and I did my pre-recorded DC Universe Daily and I told you these people are absolutely immoral. And we must change this system. No early screenings, no early reactions from people who are not qualified to give early reactions. We need 20 or 30 trusted critics, right? Who have got a license, a critic's license to watch the movie a month early to give reviews so the public have got some kind of advice in what to watch. We must sink Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and this point-scoring bullshit. The industry needs to fundamentally change. We've got these bastards. We've got these influencers lying to you and me. Now, I'm experienced. I know Hollywood. I know these fuckers, right? There's people I like who follow me and I follow on Twitter who are bullshitting, who have access. I can't attack them because they're my friends. But it's immoral and I don't agree with it. Blue Telecam, hopefully Gunn learns a lesson from this and sticks the landing with Superman Legacy, keeping leaks under wraps and stop the ridiculous amount of free screenings prior to release. I agree with all of that. The problem is Gunn's plans keep on getting leaked. I mean, Machete directing Brave and the Bold was out there. They probably leaked it. To be fair, they leaked it on purpose. They revealed that he was getting the job to try and add some hype to this movie. It didn't work because we're not stupid. The general audience isn't stupid. Again, the general audience have said, nah, DC, we're not having none of this. Kal-El, Gunn is going to get a massive shock. The boycott will be huge. Listen, he hasn't got a magic wand. He has to make good movies. But I believe the time of shared universes being a trend, cheap cameos, cheap Easter eggs being a thing is not going to work. Look, Gunn is a salesman. He's a solid writer-director. He's made good films. I wouldn't say he's made the best films of all time, but he's made good films. And if he's got such an influence, when he told people to go and watch The Flash, why did they ignore him? That's something to think about, right? So despite me keeping an open mind on this new universe, I'm going to talk about something in a minute. Blue Beetle Telecom, Machete will have lost the Batman job after this weekend. Blue Telecam, Zaslav won't be willing to take a punt on him again. John, do you think Batman Brave and the Bold will be released in 2026? I would imagine so, but obviously it depends how long this writer's strike goes on for. McRib Prime, whoever takes over Cavill, wow, big freaking shoes. But I'm hoping someone like Joshua Alpin, very good actor and already played a good style Clark character. Kal-El, Blue Beetle is going to bomb hard. I don't see who's going to see Blue Beetle that's different apart from us DC fans, because general audiences don't know or don't care about Blue Beetle. Again, I'm trying to educate people. but nobody listens to me. Who are you? Nobody listens to you. Nobody follows you. You've got few followers. What do you know, right? I do have a big willy, right? But I don't have to have a big willy to be a good lover. I don't need a big following to understand this industry. And this is what a lot of idiots don't understand. Actually, McRib, you make a good point. I feel sorry for the person who replaces Henry Cavill because that man's status is equal to Christopher Reeves now. And who would have thought that would have happened? So if he gets this casting wrong, if he gets it wrong, they're already in trouble. Kal-El, Blue Beetle is going to bomb hard. John, I'm going to watch Blue Beetle. We're all going to watch Blue Beetle. John, the problem is, are the general audience? McRib Prime, Blue Beetle does only have 100 million budget, including marketing. So it might still make some money. Plus the lead has massive following from Cobra Kai. We've been here before, McRib Prime. And here's the sad truth, that the general audience are not watching these movies. I don't know what's going to happen with Blue Beetle. Blue, a telecam. Blue Beetle looks like a very safe film, similar to Spider-Man Homecoming. Luckily, it has low budget. I'm looking forward to it. The thing is, right, low budget, so if it makes 300 or 400 million, like The Flash can make, it will be in profit. That's right. But these aren't good box office numbers, right? And it's, you know, we're in a situation where like movies like The Batman and The Joker have got the general audience really excited because they're not part of some universe. You know, the audience are not being conned by Easter eggs and cameos. It's someone with a vision, a definitive vision, trying to tell a story, making films like people used to make them, the way films should be made. Rip Prime, yeah, I am going to see, as long as The Flash doesn't have a cameo, we'll support. I don't think you're going to see him again. I think, look, Ezra Miller has been dumped. But let's talk about that Flash movie ending. It's pretty obvious that James Gunn wrote that ending. All of a sudden, we've got Ezra Miller's The Flash, Barry Allen, swearing. Who the fuck is this? Where did that come from? His tooth falls out, right? This is James Gunn comedy, isn't it? This is James Gunn. Look, I think it's a terrible ending. I think they should have kept the original ending with Callie and Keaton. We should have got the Ben Affleck post-credit scene. And whatever they were planning with Henry and Gal, they cut Gal out of the post-credit scene or an ending as well. And now Gal Gadot is saying she's really excited with her career after Wonder Woman, after Wonder Woman 3 was cancelled. So it looks like she is done as Wonder Woman. Blue Telecom, I hope to see the original ending on Blu-ray. Well, you never know. They may use that as a selling point. I mean, you know, I don't think these people are embarrassed. I'd like to see Andy's movie because the movie I saw on Friday or whenever I saw it, the theatrical cut, is not Andy Muschietti movie. They're doing the same things again. When corporations make creative decisions, this is what happens. It's another financial disaster. And right now, in the boards of power, in the halls of power at WB, they will be shitting themselves because this is a company in huge debt, like Disney, like the rest of them. They've got a writer's strike, a potential SAG-AFTRA strike as well. They're in really big trouble. McRib Prime, lol, if they try and use the Cavill scene as a selling strategy, lol, you watch the backlash. Oh boy, big time. Well, listen, they may try and put Henry back in, but considering, I don't think they will do that because they're going to cast a new Superman, right? Look, they're in trouble. Kal-El, what do you get when you cross a Hollywood studio that disrespects DC fans and desecrates beloved DC movies? You get what you fucking deserve. Flop after flop. That's what it is. Snyder had a plan. They should have let him finish it at the very least. And karma is a bitch. This is the Rock's karma. They fired him. His movie is more profitable than this movie. I can't see that changing in the coming weeks. And I think more people were excited for Black Adam at the end of the day. And we got a better cameo in Black Adam than we got basically in the Flash movie, although I did love the Nicolas Cage Superman stuff. You know, at the end of the day, cameos are simple to me because when you cameo classic iterations of characters, I can watch any of those iterations on digital, Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, 4K. I don't need to see Christopher Reeve, Michael Keaton, Helen Slater in a film, right? Because I can see them in their movies, right? You know, the cameo in Black Adam didn't make the movie make more money. These multiple cameos is not making this movie make more money. Don't they get it yet? John Sasha Calais said that there was a more longer fight with Supergirl and Zod. Of course there was. They cut that poor kid to pieces, right? And it's outrageous because she did great with the very little she got. And we saw her dressed up as a little girl, bless her, as Supergirl. This was a big deal for her. I feel so bad for that kid. The day she came on Instagram with Andy and he revealed her as Supergirl, you could tell this kid was genuinely excited for the break, and they stabbed her in the back and cut most of her scenes. They are fucking disgusting. And, you know, that she deserves to continue on as Supergirl. And maybe now Andy's in a prime position at DCU, maybe he'll insist she keeps her job. I hope it happens. But Rick Prime, so Amazon have the rights to produce DC animation movies. Do you think a cinematic animation style movie Arkham Games executive to finish Snyder's vision? Do I want an animation? I don't want. Zack Snyder doesn't want his movies to be finished in animation. I don't want that. I think most people don't want that. We want to see the movies. We want to see the movies. That's what we want. That's what we get, right? That's what we should get. Zack Snyder was born to make films for cinema, not streaming, separate animation for DC. If he wants to do that, I'm all for that. These movies must be completed in live action. Kal-El, Black Adam, The Flash, simply because the Superman appeared in The Flash, not disgusting CGI adaptations. Yeah, Henry came on, chose his costume. He was very excited to be back thanks to Adby and DeLuca. And this temporary charge that Adby and DeLuca had over DC, why were they being allowed to make fundamental decisions and all of a sudden they chucked gun at them? They couldn't have been happy about that. It is so messy. Everything they do doesn't make sense. McRib Prime, okay, I'm on board for live action, but do we think there's any chance of it? There's always a chance in this game. Did we ever think there was a chance of releasing the Snyder Cut? No, but it happened. Blue Telecam, no chance, I don't think. You've got to have your glass cut half full, Blue Telecam. But whatever happens, right? Whatever happens, interconnected franchises are in the past and they're constantly failing, right? You can kind of say that Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is a separate trilogy, not really deeply part of the MCU, even though it's connected, right? He told a separate story. You know, that movie making over 800 million isn't a success story for the MCU. Isn't proof that there's life in the old dog. There's proof that James Gunn made 3 great movies and people were interested in the concluding story of these characters. And so James Gunn will try and do something new. Maybe James Gunn can succeed where others have failed, but at the end of the day, it's a long way back. The IP has been damaged. In terms of the DCEU, which is not a thing anymore, of course, Derpy Entertainment, James Gunn wasn't a part of The Flash except for the ending and then credit scene. He didn't write the end credit scene. That was always there. The ending was him, and it was terrible. So if that's a sign of things to come, Derpy, it isn't great now, is it? Open mind, Mick. Open mind. Let's see what he can do. But yeah, I think the future is films like Joker, the Batman. I want auteurs in control of DC properties. I want auteurs with a vision. I'm fed up of this puking up of bright colours and shit gags. That lasso gag was absolutely atrocious. John, the best cameo in The Flash was Nicolas Cage as Superman. Beautiful. I loved it. That was my favourite. I actually liked the John Wesley shit one as well. John, the better that Kal-El, The Flash is a mess. There is a good story underneath. All the rubble, but the execution was horrible. I agree with that. Ironically, Miller was the best thing about the movie. the dynamic that they created between, two versions of the character's self was beautiful. They created a friendship, a mentor dynamic. Now, we have to say, if that was any other movie, they would probably be nominated for an Oscar. It was so good. The film is okay, but it's not brilliant. We could have had a really awesome movie. We could have had Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne. He could have been the new Batman in the new timeline, right? Instead of Keaton or anyone else, right? That would have been more awesome than Keaton. Keaton is just a member berry. McRib, got bounce, but take it easy. Kal-El, McRib, peace. Oh, you're going. Yeah, see you later, McRib Prime. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for the insult about my hair, and I'll see you again soon. Always great to have you in, McRib Prime. But I don't think I'm fundamentally stirring the pot. I think, look, it's there. Look, the DCEU is there, right? You got Man of Steel, a well-executed film. BVS, a well-executed film. The Snyder Cut, one of the best comic book movies ever made. Wonder Woman, a very, very good, CBM origin story. Aquaman, a very good CBM origin story coming off of a Justice League adventure for Aquaman. Everyone loves the actor. We all love Jason. He's great. It worked. The Suicide Squad is a flop, but it's a well-executed movie. Shazam's a solid movie for kids and families. That worked. It's after that. It's the rest of them that are a disaster, and that's on Hamada. And as I said earlier, Hamada should have been forced to stay until all these movies were done. And the whole James Gunn and Safran thing should have been kept a secret until all these movies were done. Someone was just ranting on a YouTube video posted on Twitter, and that's absolutely right. Kal-El, what do you think of Machete saying the VFX was purposely crap? That's not what he's saying. He's saying the cameo part in the multiverse was done like that on purpose. I'm fine. That's his style. That's something he wanted to do. I respect his vision. But the unfinished CGI was unfinished CGI. He clearly didn't supervise that, and nor did DJ Desjardins. So, as I say, I think they had a blind person's convention for a week, some work experience, because I don't think anyone who did that had any sight to be able to see, because it's like, there you go, that I do mentality. Good evening, Charles Austin. Saw the Flash yesterday. My God, what a disaster. The CGI babies, the over-the-top jokes, the bad CGI. Cavill and the coup grace a drunken Arthur Curry. Yeah, listen. I went in there and I thought it was okay, right? It's not the best thing I ever saw, but there's certain things about it I did like. But it's not anywhere near one of my favorite DCEU movies or one of my favorite, comic book movies all round. It's not the best, and you can understand why people gave it a miss. John, when do you think George Clooney filmed his scene? Well, James Gunn's been officially out, around at DC, for over a year? So that could have happened in the past year. It could probably happened last summer. Kal-El, I was waiting for your take, Charles. Kal-El, Charles Austin, Reno Jack, your whole Mick, it's Saturday. Let's go. Yes, let's go. You're here with me, Mick, Saturday Night Live, here on Movies TV Mad. Been looking forward to this all day to chat to you guys. I was waiting for the box office reports, and it actually could be even worse. It could actually sink to a 50 million 3-day opening. Now, the 4-day opening is 70. That's not good either, by the way. Look, it'll be mad if the 4-day opening isn't even 70. Charles Austin, I did like the human elements, the moments with his dad and mom especially. I like the dialogue between Barry's Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne about scars making us who we are. Yes. Yeah, look, there was good elements to the film, but there wasn't enough to make an entire, complete, consistent film. Reno Jack, better than anything they put on Saturday Night Live these days. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, well, that show's woke anyway. Charles Austin, Kal-El, sir. And, at the end of the day, we are in a moment in this industry. I mean, the latest Pixar film is shit because ever since they fired that guy for harassment, apparently, which I don't believe, that company has sunk. Disney are sunk, but I don't care about Disney. I do care about DC, and it's a mockery. But when you've got a bunch of people telling you and leaking out that this is the best film, since The Dark Knight and Superman the movie, and you've got them on Twitter saying, go watch this movie, it's really amazing. And it's not really amazing. It's not the film you told us it was, right? And the CGI is unfinished. You've cut the man's movie to pieces, but you've bribed him with a Batman movie, so he's going to continue to be the good soldier. This is not Snyder who's going to be leaking stuff and fighting back, because Snyder, they made a big mistake with Snyder. They made an enemy out of the wrong man, and and we saw what happened during the fight to release the Snyder Cut, and they lost, and they keep on losing. As I keep on saying, karma is a bitch, and this is what happens in life. There's some people you can't mess with. Charles Austin, personally, I like Black Adam way better. It may have not been the best movie, but I saw Black Adam twice. It had better VFX, absolutely, and at least have us a real Cavill at the end. And the score was much better. I didn't like Warfish's score. I thought it was very mid. As I said this morning, I wanted Rupert Gregson-Williams to do the score for The Flash. He did two brilliant scores for Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And, Warfish was okay with Shazam, but his music sounds too similar to Shazam in this film. There's nothing unique about his music. Kal-El, Warner Brothers Discovery really put their house on those golden Willy Wonka screener tickets they gave away to boost the numbers. Yeah, they were trying to create, as I said weeks ago, fake good word of mouth. And it didn't work. Everyone who was going to see the movie saw it early. It was a big mistake. Kal-El, Black Adam was the way forward. I saw that film numerous times. It's an okay movie. It's sloppy in places, but at least its presentation is okay. Charles Austin, Kal-El, 100%, brother. So Black Adam had a bigger opening. It was disastrous because of what it cost as well. It is one disaster after the other. But this is the thing now. We knew the DCEU was a problem. We knew it was ending, and they handled it badly. They had James Gunn come out early talking about the future, that, these movies, he didn't say these movies didn't matter, but basically with what he was saying, it was obvious, right? And now he's going to crawl back in his little hole. Millions of people are tagging him on Twitter. He may make some kind of condescending announcement, but at the end of the day, there's no way out of this, mate. You told people this movie was brilliant. Kal-El, to build a house, you need a good foundation. Good luck, Gunn. Yes, you need a good foundation. So he is going to have to build a good foundation. His foundation hasn't started yet. So if he tries to rush it, if he tries to pull the wool over our eyes, like he's tried to do with the Flash movie, what he's tried to do, like since he's come here, a lot of his auditions are being leaked out and things like that. That's going to be interesting. How he casts Superman and Lois. Let's not forget there's a Superman and Lois on TV at the moment, which is very popular as well. So, let's see what he does. Kal-El, I can't and won't support Gunn's DCU. Jack, Reeves, Gunn. Listen, this is what we want now. We need auteurs like Reeves and Todd Phillips to be making their movies. If they can get Nolan back to do whatever he wants in DC Elseworlds or whatever else he does, right? But it will be good to see him doing DC properties again. We need auteurs like Snyder, Nolan, Reeves, and Phillips making standalone trilogies or quadruplies or one-off movies. That's the future. These interconnected things worked for Marvel for a while. They don't work. They're not a trend anymore. Charles Austin, Zack Snyder brought a gravitas to the characters in his films. The Flash, in my opinion, undid all that. I get they were trying to pay homage to Snyder, but that was sloppily executed. It was because Snyder has a certain style. So as I said when I was doing my spoiler review, they tried to do the whole Feora fight when she moves really quickly, like she does in MOS. They couldn't pull it off because only Snyder knows how to do what he does. And treading in Man of Steel was a big mistake. And an even bigger mistake, treading in Man of Steel without Henry Cavill. How stupid are they? Reno Jack, Kal-El, yup. Charles Austin, Elseworlds all day. Absolutely. I think that's the future. And if, I mean, look, in a perfect world, you should have a really good interconnected franchise that works and Elseworlds that also works. If they can pull off both, then wow. Kal-El, big facts, Charles. Yes, I agree. I've been watching the Snyder Cut today. It's a great palate cleanser. And as I said earlier, the Barry Allen we got in the Snyder Cut is much better to what we got in the Flash movie. Charles Austin, Zack used a technique called speed ramping. That's right. That's why his scenes look more realistic. Snyder he's an auteur. He's a visual auteur director. He could make a silent movie. He could actually make a silent movie with just music, and it would be great. Maybe one day he will. I think we need to experiment with some silent movies. I've been watching some Chaplin recently. Reno Jack, trying to do all the individual movies as well as the team movies is just a recipe for convoluted mess. Well, it could be, Reno, it could be, but also it could work. You could have the interconnected franchise because they believe that's where the money is, and because they're greedy, obviously. They're a capitalist company who want to make as much money as possible. But it's all about the execution. And when you don't get your execution right, so you can do that and you can have Elseworlds. You can tell there's loads of characters in DC. Have to be Superman and Batman in the Elseworlds. There's so many characters that haven't even been. Give those characters to auteurs, and it can be great. You can have them both be successful, but I do believe Elseworlds is the future. Stuff like Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, just directors, auteurs doing their thing. No cameos, no Easter eggs. Just tell a good story. Good, unique versions of these characters. People are bored with this shit. But Gunn has also admitted this. So will he do something different? Can he pull this off? That's the big question now. So obviously consumption is a way we're going to find that out. Reno Jack, John, maybe we need to make a new hashtag. Keep Sasha Calais. I'd love that. I'd be all for that. She deserves it. The kid's amazing. I love the fact that her and Leslie Grace are mates. And what happened to Leslie Grace was disgusting, especially when they were keeping, Ezra Miller, and Leslie Grace didn't do anything wrong. It is outrageous. Kal-El, now I understand why they cut the at the speed of force scene, because they wanted to use time travel to unravel the Snyderverse. What a dirty company. Yeah, look, this is what they wanted to do. But karma's a bitch, Cal. Karma's a bitch. It's a bitch in life. When you try and be toxic, because they were trying to stab Snyder in the back from day one. They were never happy that Nolan brought him in. And Jeff Johns was behind that. And who knows? Hamada's probably still there. Why is Hamada's pick of a director, Machete, getting a Batman movie? Is Gunn really in charge? That's another question. It's all utterly suspicious. Gunn was already there. He became co-CEO of DC Studios. Safran was already there. He's co-CEO of DC Studios. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work it out. Now do you? So they're failing. Let's see what they can do with the new universe. But is it going to be more of the same? And let's not forget, Gunn tried to get other directors to do Brave and the Bold. He then said that Andy Muschietti was the only choice. Lies, and more lies. Charles Austin, which, by the way, was one of, if not the greatest sequences in CBM history. I agree. It literally, like comic book panels, come to life when Zack did the Speed Force. His Speed Force is amazing. It's brilliant, and it works. Everything visual he does works. He's a very visual director. He is perfect to direct CBMs. Kal-El, 100% got tier level. So visually, I don't think anyone can argue there's no one better than Zack Snyder. I mean, I think people like Peter Jackson, obviously, and Denis Villeneuve can compete, but very few people are as so visually astute as a director like Zack Snyder. John, they needed Reverse Flash. That's something else I've put down on tonight's headlines. Andy Machete has confirmed that Reverse Flash did indeed kill Nora Allen. So they're telling without showing. He said in a sequel, Reverse Flash would be involved. It's ridiculous. Reverse Flash is such an important character. They did him good in Arrowverse. Say what you want about Arrowverse, but he's there. A couple of versions of him. They did Reverse Flash dirty. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a proper Flash movie. I don't know what they were doing. You can go and see the movie and say, it was okay, it was mercy, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it wasn't as good as what we could have got. Charles Austin, because Zach is an artist. Remember that. I know that. Reno Jack, lol, in a sequel. Charles Austin, Zach was an artist before he was a director. Yes, and he studied at an art school in London, because I only know that because I watched that little documentary, because I did buy the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League physical 4K. And there's that great Journey to the Justice League video, which I really enjoy watching every time I watch it. But I don't always watch the Snyder Cut on Blu-ray or 4K. I sometimes watch it on my digital copy. John, I hated the baby scene. First of all, John, not only did the VFX look terrible, is it funny seeing children falling out of a window? It was done for laughs. Make no mistake, it was done for laughs. We've got people being offended at Zack doing this, Zack doing that, having Batman killing this one and that one. But we're talking about if Snyder had babies being chucked out of windows, Jesus Christ, he'd probably be on fucking death row by now, wouldn't he? It was a dumb thing. It didn't work. It was stupid. And then to make it worse, to put a bloody baby in a microwave, then hear the ka-ting, the bell ring, like they just microwaved the baby, it's ridiculous. What are these people on? Kal-El, that baby shower was horrible. And Warfish on his soundtrack has got a piece of music called Baby Shower. I mean, it's ridiculous. These people are clueless. Clueless. We're talking about industry professionals here. Charles Austin, a man who does his own storyboard panels, over 300 for Rebel Moon. That's commitment. Meanwhile, on Twitter, we got James Gunn arguing with toxic fans when he should be working. Yes, the man, look, you're absolutely spot on. The man's got an ego. He's always on Twitter. He's arguing with people. He's monitoring us on social media. He probably comes in on this channel and other channels as well. Hello, James. I think your movies are okay, by the way. I've got no agenda against you, man. But at the end of the day, you know, you should be spending time on your work. And he made a very good Guardians 3, to be fair to him. But the man does have an ego. That's true. And then earlier this week, he did an Inside of You podcast with his good friend Michael Rosenbaum. That was controversial as well. People were upset about that. And yeah, I mean, listen. But the reason he did that interview there, he did a favor for Michael as well, of course. But he was trying to hype up the movie, saying, oh, it's the new DCEU now. It's finished now. And Blue Beetle's part of the new universe. Isn't that exciting? And people have said, no, it's not exciting. Because people are worn out. What everyone needs to understand, people are worn out with these movies. Scott Edwards, what's up? Good evening, Scott. How are you doing on this Saturday Night Live with me, Mick? Charles Austin, Kal-El, bro. Me and my wife must have traded more than 24 glances in that movie. You're talking about the baby shower, aren't you? Yeah. I'm assuming your wife wasn't a fan. Scott Edwards, what did you think of the Flash movie? I thought it was okay, Scott. I didn't think it was anything special. I was focused on it. It was okay. I enjoyed it in places. There's some things I didn't like. I don't think it's the best movie. It's nowhere near Superman the movie or The Dark Knight, like they said. It's okay, but it's a financial disaster. It's as simple as that. And there's many reasons for that. Hello, I can relate, Charles Lowell. I was bemused. Charles Austin, nope, she wasn't a fan, Mick. It was Quiet Car Ride Home. Well, actually, talking of quiet car rides home, I think I've mentioned this story before. So I saw Justice League, right, on opening night. And in the first part of the movie, I was okay. I kind of thought it was okay, like the car keys thing, everything. I'm slow on the uptake, so I didn't notice the upper lip or anything until I got home to Twitter. And I started to notice that this wasn't Zack Snyder's movie. Anyway, so I get in the cab. The taxi driver's quite a good friend of mine as well. So he goes, all right, Mick, you know, I've been looking forward to this movie. You've been talking about it for a week. What did you think about it? I lied to him and told him I enjoyed the movie. And then the car ride home was quite after that. I've never been more depressed after seeing a movie in all my life. Scott Edwards, the original ending with Keaton would have worked a lot better. I agree, Scott. You know, they went with Keaton and Calais. You know, you don't need to use the Flash movie to create a new James Gunn universe. He could have just done that fresh, gone in fresh. He should have just allowed the Affleck post-credit scene, the Cavill and Wonder Woman scene, and the Affleck scene, right? They should have released Andy's movie. That is not Andy's Machete's movie. This is what happens when the corporate element makes creative decisions. It ends up in tatters. Charles Austin, yeah. Hello, did you notice that Batfleck's lips didn't sync yet with his dialogue in the opening scene? Amateur hour. And he wasn't credited at the end of the movie, which is disgusting. Or maybe Affleck was so bummed, because I want to make something clear about Affleck's and Michael Shannon's appearance. They were contractually obligated to be in that film. And all this shit that it was the best Batman he ever made, he didn't believe that. But I tell you what, Shannon was damn honest. Shannon wasn't having any of it. I love Michael Shannon. The man's fucking ruthless. Didn't like what they did to Snyder, said so, went to Snyder to ask his permission, but I don't think he had any choice. He was contractually obligated to be in that film. And look, they literally got Shannon's head and put it in a body. It was shit. And I could tell it was shit from the trailers. So you could tell the VFX was shit and try from the trailers. And they had Machete do a video before the CinemaCon screening saying, don't worry, everyone, this isn't the finished article. It fucking was, apart from the ending, right? They didn't improve the VFX. Was it Cal? Amateur hour. Absolutely right. It's disgusting. It's Justice League all over again. Ronnie Dodge, good evening, Ronnie. Good to hear from you. I did retweet you on Twitter when you said you were going. Hey, Mick, finally saw the Flash today. What did you think, Ronnie? Let me know. Of course, make this absolutely clear. Whether you enjoyed the movie or didn't enjoy it, your views are absolutely appreciated here. And no one's going to eat you alive if you liked the movie or didn't like the movie. So you're in safe hands here. John, I did like the Lasso of Truth scene in Justice League 2017. Well, this is the point, John. Justice League is an outrageous movie, right? You know, it's disrespectful to the fans of Snyder. But that lasso gag worked better in Justice League than it did in The Flash. It's horrible in The Flash. It was just poorly done. It was embarrassing. Charles Austin, Michael Shannon was a gangster for what he said. Yeah. When the VFX from a 10-year-old movie can still outpace a 2023 movie, that's a problem. Also, of course, it was Snyder who did the 10-year-old movie. We must remember that. Ronnie Dodge, it was a fun time. That's it. I will see it again on Monday. So basically, Ronnie, you're like me. You thought it was okay, but you didn't think it was brilliant. And I'm sure you have problems with it. Why don't you tell us, Ronnie, if you're going to stick around, what you liked about the movie and what you didn't like about the movie? My favourite part, Ronnie, was Ezra Miller's performance as the two characters, the bond the bond they formed with the two characters, and that relationship. And when younger Barry sacrifices themselves, you feel that bond, that mentor. And to do that, for one actor to do that with two separate characters, you know, deserves some credit and a shout out, no matter what they've done in real life. Kal-El, Shannon is Zod in real life. He won't kneel. No. Because I do believe he was contractually obligated to be in that movie, but he wasn't keeping quiet. He doesn't want to be in Star Wars. He's not having none of it. But basically, he wasn't really barely in the Flash movie. They shoved his head on a body. It looked terrible. I mean, listen, They did him dirty. Even Affleck wasn't great in them. I didn't like Affleck in the movie, right? I mean, he was still clearly getting over his alcoholism. He was very slim. He didn't look like the Batfleck I remember. And to me, he was phoning his performance in. He was just hanging out outside some club or something. It didn't even, there was something wrong with it. It didn't work for me. And the Batman kind of stunt work and action scenes was cool, but then again, they shoved the man's face on a stuntman's face. It's so sloppy and cheap. Kal-El, Ezra was accused of stealing beer and drugging. These things are in the film. Oh, yes, we haven't discussed that. Yeah, he talks about drugging the other Barry. Yes, that's right. What the fuck is going on? Is it meant to be better? I think they did that before their conduct. Charles Austin, Kal-El, they could have deep faked the entire movie and no one would be able to tell the difference. Kal-El, it's embarrassing. And, you know, at the end of the day, you can only laugh. And I must admit, Ronnie Dodge's reaction is very telling because Ronnie normally kind of enjoys most DC stuff and doesn't have problems with a lot of it. So if Ronnie's kind of saying, yeah, it was a fun time, that's it, you can tell there's an issue. It's sad because people like Ronnie are pure DC fans. And it's sad that those people are getting hurt, that we're all getting hurt, that we're all being told this is the best film since The Dark Knight, Superman the movie, The Great Dictator, and The Godfather. I know they didn't say it about The Godfather and The Great Dictator, but they may as well have done. Ronnie Dodge. Ezra's performance was great. I think they did an amazing performance, and I loved Keaton and Sasha, but very interesting how Andy does Brave and the Bold. Yes, he's been rewarded for a 60 million box office bomb, so he can't complain. I think that's another reason he's got the gig, Ronnie, so he doesn't do a Snyder and come out or a David Ayer. And I think that might be something to do with Kal-El. Mick, I entered the cinema with such optimism and left diffused. Are you talking about The Flash now or Justice League? Because that's how I felt with Justice League. I genuinely believe that Joss Whedon and Snyder were friends when I went into that movie, and I was at least going to see a 2-hour both. But yeah, see a 2-hour. I mean, I can't see. I mean, I was shocked they were reducing the film for 2 hours, but I defended that. But I came out dejected. In terms of The Flash, I didn't come out dejected because, first of all, I'd already seen a test screening, but I didn't think I was going to see Superman the movie or The Dark Knight. It was obvious they were lying. Ronnie Dodge, I'm at the point like, just bring on Superman Legacy. Do you know where I am, Ronnie? Bring on Joker Folie à Deux. I am done with these interconnected movies. I'm worn out. I'm even worn out talking about The Flash. It's just so tiring with this incompetence. I know that Joker 2 will be loved by everyone, and there won't be this toxicity either, because everyone loves Joaquin, everyone loves Todd, they love the first movie. Snyder fans will be up for it, other DC fans will be up for it, and it'll be a different situation. Kal-El, yes, I got Justice vibes too. McRib Prime lol, just any positive comment on Miller makes me laugh and then scratch my head. Well, listen, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be a child, McRib Prime, and just because I don't approve of their conduct, at the end of the day, they played two characters really well and they formed a dynamic. They're the facts. That's what happened on the screen. So I have to say that. I'm not going to be like the fandom menace that just shit talks Ezra because of their conduct. Their conduct is outrageous. The person should be in prison, no question. But we do have to be straight up about things and not act like children. Charles Austin, my daughter liked it, but she's the general audience. She's 10 and only just started reading comics. So for her, it was fun. Charles Austin, I have no desire to see Superman Legacy, not even a wiggle down there. McRib Prime, I have to be honest, for MOS, was epic, a different take on Superman. I absolutely loved the movie. Yes, Man of Steel is a great movie. It's a great modern way of telling Superman. Ronnie Dodge, glad Blue Beetle is its own thing. Yeah, obviously always going to be its own thing, but actually they're liars, Ronnie, because originally Keaton cameos in that movie. So it wasn't totally its own thing. But now, because obviously there's no DCEU and there's a new universe. It has to be its own thing. I mean, they will do anything to sell this movie, to sell any movie. If you're comparing not a bad, but a mid movie to Superman the movie, The Godfather, films like that, that means you're a salesperson and you can't be trusted. John, bring on Joker 2 and the Batman 2. They're the things I'm looking forward to in DC. I'm not that excited for Blue Beetle. I'm not that excited for Aquaman and Lost Kingdom. It's all about Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips now because they're two directors I can trust. And Gunn won't be telling Todd Phillips. I don't think he's ever mentioned Todd Phillips. That tells you everything you need to know. And considering Zaslav approached Phillips to run DC before he approached Gunn, that tells you who has got seniority there. Kal-El, 100%, I will never support Gunn's DCU, Ronnie Dodge. I will see Aquaman 2. I'll see them all, Ronnie, but I don't have any faith in the remaining movies for this year. Iwanka Tinkle, Grace Randolph just said The Flash is better than Bird's Batman and Raimi's. I'll stay off the drugs, Grace. Everyone's a hot taker, aren't they? Ronnie Dodge, I will admit, the last scene between Barry and his mum made me emotional. Yes, that was a wonderful scene. It really was. Kal-El, James Wan recently made comments on the meddling. When I see things like this, I take it as a disclaimer. Yeah, I think you can take that very soon they're going to shelve that movie. I still have a gut feeling, by the way. Charles Austin, that's why it was called MOS. It was a true origin story. That's why the quip with Lois trying to say Superman, but was cut if by the microphone feedback. He's not Superman yet. That was the point. That's right. But I do love when the actor from Smallville says Superman's there with the general. And then Swanwick goes, Superman? That's what they're calling the alien. I love that bit. McRib Prime, Kal-El, if we don't support Gunn's DC, do you think it will stop his vision? I'm of the opinion the Snyderverse is now over. Horrific feeling to say that, but unfortunately, I think it's over. Whether it's over or not, if Superman Legacy doesn't make $1.5 billion to $2 billion, if it makes under $1 billion, for example, he's fucked. But Rib Prime, lol, Grace the clueless Randolph, the one that said Mario wouldn't make 50 million at the box office, lol. Well, she didn't want it to because she knew Princess Peach wasn't going to be a gal boss, which offended her. Ronnie George, can I just say, what the fuck with the George ending? That was all James Gunn, by the way. Bit worrying, isn't it? Kal-El, no McRib, WBD will still push Gunn's DCU regardless. I believe you me, if Superman Legacy bombs as bad as The Flash and these other DCEU movies, no one's keeping him now. This is why they want Nolan in. Kal-El, Gunn's DCU will be low budget, so his expectations are low. No, Cal. We're not, when you're making a Superman movie and a Batman movie, there's no low expectations, my friend. Those movies have got to hit big. No matter what he's spending, what he says, what he does, Superman Legacy has to make over $1 billion. And even that may be seen as a failure. So no, there's no excuses. Ray Judge, I like Clooney. I was shocked. I like George Clooney. I don't like George Clooney as Batman, though. Rib Prime, lol, Warner Bros. Discovery are now, I believe, $49 billion in debt. Oh, dear, lol. We'll see what happens. Oh, they're in trouble. And this is terrible. This is terrible for them. Charles Austin, yeah, 80 to 100 low budget stuff. However, WB will have to spend some money on Superman Legacy. Has to be a success. Gunn has never made $1 billion movie. Let me repeat. James Gunn has never made a movie that's made $1 billion or more, right? Which means that's what he has to do. And this is not Guardians of the Galaxy. This is not the Suicide Squad. This is not Waller. This is Superman. Superman films haven't done very well lately. And this Superman film has to deliver. It's as simple as that. Let's see what happens. McRib Prime, what money? Their stock is tanking again. What money, lol? Ewan Twinkle, considering Andy believes the CG is the Flash is acceptable, him directing a Batman film is terrifying. I agree. Ronnie George, I expect we will get Superman Legacy casting next month at Comic-Con. Oh, yes, definitely. I think he may have, I think all these leaks may be BS. He may have even done the casting, the main casting. But yeah, I expect some kind of news. But it may also be too soon to make announcements. I think I think he knows who's scoring the movie. So we may get those kind of announcements. Kal-El, it's insane for Gunn to introduce another Superman in this climate. Well, it's a big deal. Look, you're dealing with a very desperate company. But Rib Prime, imagine Amazon or Netflix approaching Warner Brothers Discovery to make Man of Steel 2, just renting Superman out. Well, look, people will do it. People will watch it. People will watch the shit out of it because Henry Cavill is still popular. When Henry Cavill was announced to be coming back after he appeared in Black Adam, it was on the BBC 10 o'clock news. It was at the ITV 10 o'clock news. It was on CNN. It was on all the major news outlets. That's how big that was. Now, when Gunn was announced as co-CEO of DC Studios, he didn't make the BBC 9 o'clock news or the ITV 10 o'clock news, right? Think about that for a minute. Charles Austin, exactly, McRib. What money? Ronnie Judge, all wished is we got to see more Sasha. She's deserved more screen time. She did. She's been a fan since a kid. They cut the shit out of her appearance. It is despicable. McRib Prime, DC was trending #1 for a week when Cavill made his Instagram post. Yeah, they're dumb. They're dumb. They're dumb people. Kal-El, the age of Cavill is irrelevant given the story. Him getting older suits his story arc. But when we say he's getting older, he's not a bloody 80-year-old geezer. He ain't fucking Michael Keaton, right? And they were going to make him the main Batman of the DCEU. This is a 40-year-old man who's built like a shit brick house and looks amazing. Kal-El, facts, Mick, I do try. So, yeah, the man being 40 years old, which was one of Gunn's excuses, which was an excuse. But Rib Prime, he's 40, he's not old. Plus, he looks like 34. He looks great, right? It's not an issue. Gunn tried to make it an issue. Ronnie Dodge, apparently the authority is in Superman Legacy. That is correct. And I did do a video about it, Ronnie. I do believe they won't feature largely because I think they're getting their own movie, so you wouldn't want to make them villains of a Superman movie that comes before. I think maybe Lois will be investigating them or something. She'll be sniffing a rat with them in that film. Charles Austin, exactly. They could have finished his 5-story arc. They should have done, and they wouldn't be in this position now. Iwanka Tinkle, not going to lie, Ezra made this film for me. The 2 Barrys were the only thing holding my interest. It was great. Yes, I've definitely credited him for that. Them for that, I apologise. To create that dynamic, 1 actor, 2 characters that are the same character was an amazing thing. It's very similar to like what Eisenberg did with The Double. You've got to applaud good work. Doesn't mean I approve of their conduct, but what they did in the movie was very good. I think they were a better Barry in the Snyder Cut. I think Snyder gets what he wanted from him. That basically Miller was a better Barry in the cameo in Suicide Squad as well. I thought that was perfect. The Flash we got in the Flash movie, I don't think, isn't as good as what we saw in the Snyder Cut, isn't as good as we saw in David Ayer's Suicide Squad either. That is just my opinion. The whole thing of removing Snyder is why we're here now. If he finished his stuff, there will be no toxicity, there'd be no boycotts, and they could have started again with Johns and Whedon or whoever they wanted. And the way they handled it was all wrong. Ronnie Dodge loved the banter between both Barrys and think they was played by one actor is incredible. Absolutely, Ronnie. No matter what anyone says, what they did with that was amazing. And credit has to go to the actor and the director. That doesn't happen without the actor and the director doing their jobs. And it was brilliant. Kal-El, Thought we would see Burton's Gotham, but we saw a kitchen and a Batcave that didn't look like the original. Well, I think everything looks kind of the same, but you're right. It's a big miss that we didn't actually see Gotham. And I'm thinking they thought that would be a bit too expensive and expansive. But yeah, if you're going to see Burton, you may as well see all the trip. If you're going to see Burton, Burton's Batman, you might as well get all the trimmings. And we didn't get that. That's a shame. And I absolutely understand what you're saying. Kal-El, Keaton was a boss, fantastic actor. Yeah, it was like he never left the role. Of course, the beard and the long hair, you could tell it was a wig. I even think at the beginning, it looked like a lighter shade. No, like it seems like bright white and then it was grey. Or was that just me? I don't know. But Keaton was amazing. But I like Keaton's Batman, but he's not my Batman. And I still think Jeffrey D. Morgan as Thomas Wayne would have been the better thing to do. Ronnie Dodge, the only thing I do prefer about Flash is Barry, how mature he is by the end of the movie, by the mistake he made. Yeah, you do get a journey, and that's good. Charles Austin, Kal-El agreed. I don't go for nostalgia, but I did like his scene. They were good. They were really good. Kal-El, so much potential wasted in this made-by-committee movie, and that's exactly what it is, and that's why they cut Andy's movie to pieces. Reno Jack, the world ain't ready for a live-action Flashpoint Batman. I think it is. Kal-El, Charles Austin, they still should have stuck with Rick Fujimonte's script from Flashpoint. Yeah, it would have been better. That's a brilliant storyteller, brilliant director. Zack's choice. That's why he was binned. That's why they binned Zack's original choice for the first Wonder Woman. A better female director than Patty Jenkins. We saw that Patty Jenkins can't direct traffic in Wonder Woman 84. Bye-bye, Patty, she's gone. Ronnie Dodge, I do prefer this movie to Multiverse of Madness. Do you know what? I don't know. I think I probably prefer Multiverse of Madness, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's as bad as people make out. And certainly, the Flash movie is not going to make as much money as Multiverse of Madness did. That made around 900 million, which people call a flop. That's not a flop. It's not as much as everyone wanted it to make, but that's not a flop. This movie, I don't know what this movie is going to make now. I mean, 60 million opening, that's bad. I wonder what the global will be. They were predicting about 155. I think it's going to be below that now. Could be 130. I mean, the box office is atrocious. Charles Austin, but Multiverse of Madness did the multiverse right. I liked it. Doctor Strange was the same person across all universes, unlike the Flash with different types of Bruce Waynes. I think with multiverses, Charles, you can have characters being different because it's a multiverse. They're a little bit different, and that's okay. But I do prefer Multiverse of Madness, if I'm being honest. I always did like that movie. If Iwana Twinkle, 450,000 worldwide, if it's lucky. Or is that million? I can't read my numbers. Oh, you mean 450 million worldwide? Right, yeah. Charles Austin, watch Sliders and The One Mick. Oh, I love Sliders. Kal-El, I also expected a Forrest Gump scenario where Barry runs into Donna's universe and interacts with Reeve in that setting with a camera lens, changes, etc. But no, we got pool balls colliding, lol. Yeah, that would have been much better. Much better. Charles Austin, the multiverse is the same, Mick, across all well, no, Charles, right? What a multiverse is, right, is different universes, right? But the people in those universes, on those different Earths, can slightly be different. There can be differences to them. They make different decisions, different experiences can change you a bit. It doesn't have to be all the same. Ronnie Dodge, my screening went nuts over the Nick Cage cameo. It was really cool. That's my favorite cameo. Bat Super. Good evening, Mick. Good evening, Bat Super. How are you doing? Charles Austin. Yes, but it's the same you. It's the same you, but there can be differences in your personality. And obviously the choices you make are going to be different. Ronnie George, maybe when I see it again on Monday, I will love it more. Maybe. You never know. You never know. Reno Jack, what was Nick Cage's cameo? He fought a spider. That's what he was supposed to do in his Superman movie. It was pretty cool. Bad Super, I'm doing great, and you? Not too bad. A bit hot, but I'm hot in all ways, aren't I? But yes, I'm doing okay. Welcome to Saturday Night Live with me, Mick, here on Movies TV Mad. If you're just joining us, if you're new, please subscribe and please smash the like button. It will be very much appreciated, and I will be forever, of course, in your debt. Someone's already had enough, so they've gone. Floaters are funny, aren't they? Kal-El, some parts of the film was fire. I like the younger Barry getting manic, trying to fix things. Yeah, listen, that element was great, as I've already said. I think the differences between the two characters was very, very cleverly done. Whether that was a thing that people wanted to see, that's a different case in point. Whether they should have used two Barrys like two Ezra Millers, maybe that wasn't the most entertaining thing they could have done. Maybe using Grant and Ezra would have been better. They set it up on Crisis anyway. So why Grant didn't get any part to play in this movie is shocking. Charles Austin, yeah, the two Barrys was played very well, Kal-El. Ray George, I'm just glad I got to see Michael Keaton as Bats one last time. Well, you know what the beauty is, Ronnie? You can see him whenever you want in Batman 89 and Batman 92. But it was good to see him in the movie. Kal-El, 100%. 100%. Ray Dodge, I did love Patty and Albert being arseholes to Barry. That was comic accurate. Yes, unlike in Arrowverse. But yeah, that was cool. Kind of felt sorry for Barry because he doesn't have any real friends wherever he goes. Even Batfleck didn't want to spend any time with him, which was very sad. The problem is now, who's going to want to make another Flash movie after that? I think it would have been better if WB rested the interconnected franchise, focused on standalones, and in a few years went back to it. Kal-El, I thought Bruce ducking Barry was strange, lol. Yeah, I mean, look, Bruce Wayne is a loner. He's not really someone who hangs out with people anyway, So I don't think, like, Bruce Wayne has swing digs and, social events with other Justice League members anyway. Kal-El, Bruce bounced ASAP. Yeah, I think Bruce realised he was talking to Ezra Miller. I think that's why he bounced. It's a laugh, isn't it? It's all a laugh. It's a crazy world we live in, isn't it? It really is. But Ronnie Judge, do you think a 1.5 year gap will be good for the DCU? Yes, I think the gap between Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, if it isn't shelved, by the way, and between Superman Legacy is something psychologically and mentally I need and the rest of the fans need, because I think we've had enough. It's too much flop after flop. It's mentally tiring. Being told it's the best film ever, then it comes out a flop, finding out they lied to us constantly. But this is the difference between the Batman 2 and the Joker 2. Those directors are competent directors. They have their own vision. You're going to get passion from them. They're going to tell it straight. They don't bullshit their audience. This is the difference between people like Gunn and Phillips and Reeves. Phillips and Reeves are just like these mad little geniuses who love what they're talking about. And if they tell you they're going to do something, they're going to do it. They're not tricksters. With James Gunn, I think he is a bit of a trickster. Kal-El, Gal Gadot looked good. I didn't like her cameo at all. I didn't like her cameo in either Fury of the Gods or The Flash. Kal-El, Mick, did you recognise Barry's boss? What the black gentleman? Oh no, the Indian guy. I did actually. Isn't he an English actor? Ronnie Dodge. Thinking about it, really, I find more positives about The Flash than negative. Yes, it's not a horrible film, but the unfinished CGI is a disgrace. Your presentation these days with the technology and finance they put into movies. So there's no excuse there. But I think the movie did what it set out to do. But it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. But yeah, I get you. Kal-El, goodness gracious me. Joel Davies, hello, pal. Hello. What are you laughing at, Cal? Joel Davies, do you remember me? I'm afraid, Joel, you do seem kind of familiar, but I think it's been a while, so you're going to have to refresh my memory. I do apologise. I do talk to a lot of people. Ronnie Dodge, the CGI in the third act, yikes. Look, it's terrible. The baby's in the first act. It's not good. It's not good. You can't release a film like that. It's outrageous. So what do you expect? And people saw that terrible CG in the marketing, aka the trailers, and then you're surprised that your movie bombs. Joel Davies, it's been like 2 years. I hope you're doing epic, Mickey. Well, 2 years. Wow, it's been a long time. And so many things have happened in the past 2 years in film entertainment with me. So it's great to have you back on the channel. I haven't been doing lives up to the past 7 days, so you haven't really missed much. John, do you think The Flash will get a sequel? No. I think that's why he's in the Clooneyverse, isn't it? Because he's done. Ronnie Dodge, I wasn't sure if the old Barry was played by Ezra because of the makeup. Kal-El, Mick, what do you think happened in the years this film was postponed? It's obvious now it wasn't the VFX. Well, they lied. And if you used to follow me, Cal, when they lied and when they postponed it and they said it was all VFX, and people like Boba Talks and other people saying, yeah, it's VFX, blah, blah, blah. And I was saying to my audience, it's not VFX. There's something going on. And I was right. Clearly, they weren't trying to fix the VFX. Because how did this happen? How do we get a competent director like Machete delivering a film unfinished? They interfered with his movie, cut it to pieces. Probably edited by the same music video company that did Suicide Squad. So I don't know what happened, Cal. Charles Austin, 330 million to 330 million. There is no excuse. Not when both Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon movies cost 166 million total and will be way more visually stunning. Absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Ronnie George, the Dark Flash, I mean. Yeah. What did you make of the Dark Flash, Ronnie? Because the film really didn't have any villains, did it? Not really. Charles Austin, so what did they spend that money on? Well, that's a good question. Ezra Miller's Bale, I suppose. Kal-El, Snyder's backyard film nightmare footage was better than this blockbuster movie. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's how good Snyder is. Look, listen, as I say, today they have the technology. Charles Austin, Mick. But, they've got the technology, right? They've got the CGI, they've got the VFX, they've got the money. As you say, 330 million spent on this film. God knows how. I mean, Bale is expensive, by the way. But, yeah, I have no explanations for you. I can't defend them, and I really don't want to defend them. Ronnie George, I felt the villain was actually time and fate. Yeah, listen, I mean, the Flashpoint graphic novel doesn't really have a villain. I mean, Reverse Flash does turn out. Really, the real villain of the story in Flashpoint is Barry Allen. Makes a really selfish mistake and causes the problems that happen. So I suppose you could call Barry the kind of villain but it doesn't really have a real villain. John, Dark Flash was better in the CW show. I couldn't agree more, John. I absolutely agree. It was more emotional. It worked, and you could see it was Grant Gustin, and Grant Gustin nailed it. Grant Gustin's another one that's a really good actor. Basically, Stephen Amell nailed it from day one that he was never happy that Miller was cast as the Flash, Stephen. Stephen's another one, like Michael Shannon, who tells it how it is. He said that Grant Gustin should have got the Flash movie gig. And I agree with Stephen. And Stephen was very consistent on that from day one. Ronnie Dodge, I mean, the Farah didn't say anything in the movie. I know we all got so excited. She's so great in Man of Steel, and it was pointless. But basically, Michael Shannon, they planted his head on a body. Ben Affleck, they planted his head on a stuntman's body. And it looked horrible. It looked horrible in the trailers. This is disgusting. This isn't right. So nobody should be shocked that this movie has bombed. Charles Austin, I really want to know what they spent that money on. This was an $80 to $100 million film at best. Yeah, but just to think about that for a minute, that's just the movie we saw. If there's a 4 hours director cut, right, with music and everything, if that's the case, right, that means they wasted a lot of money. But the point is, what I keep on saying and repeating, they cut Andy's movie to pieces. And he would never complain because he's been bribed with a Batman movie. But they cut the man's movie like they did to Snyder. They cut half an hour out of BVS. It's not just Justice League. And then there's Air's Suicide Squad. They keep on making the same mistakes because these corporations are so arrogant and they think they can make better creative decisions than the actual creatives. And this is where it's going wrong. Now, this is why when you see the writers' strike and you see their placards and everything, that deep hate they have for these corporations. And I can't say I blame them. Kalau, I thought about Farah when she was there, but we didn't get a good look at her. We didn't. We just about saw her, and you could tell that she looks very different now because obviously it's been a few years. I don't think they even bothered doing her hair. Ronnie Judge, I hope we see the original ending with Sasha and Keaton. Well, they may be desperate enough to do that. I mean, even I'll buy the 4K if they do that. John, how did the Flash manage to stab Farah? Do you know what? I can't remember. Didn't he use it with his speed thing? Is that how he did it? I don't know. Did he stab her? What happened? I can't remember now. That's a bloody blank to me. Did he stab her with something or was it with the Flash thing? I don't know. I think the movie has both good, bad, and indifferent and inconsistent things about it. And I think that's the problem. And as you say, everyone, they had a lot of money to spend on this movie. And it doesn't look like it. Bat Sibri, wouldn't surprise me if the execs freak out over the Flash underperforming and start tinkering with Superman Legacy. Yeah, Gunn doesn't let anyone do that to his movies. So if Gunn's there, Gunn's going to be in charge. But I believe that Zaslav is a Tinker Tailor soldier, and I think that Gunn doesn't really understand that yet. You will. Ronnie Dodge, he got stabbed with Kryptonian blade. That's right. But I think John was talking about Farah, I think. The film doesn't really even make sense, really. But it is a bomb. I thought it would be a bomb. From the moment Miller's Antics came out, I thought it'd be a bomb. But really, look, when they announced this film and I was being positive about it, I thought it was going to be a great multiversal film. I thought they were going to celebrate DC. I thought we were going to have Cavill and Calais together. I thought this was going to be a proper good movie. I thought we'd have Keaton, we'd have, Jeffrey Dean Morgan as well. But they were just, they were making dumb decisions. They always make dumb decisions. Ronnie Dodge, Barry 2 used the Kryptonian blade that cut her throat by the looks of it. Oh, right, yeah. I think it was a blink and you miss it. I must have blinked. So I like the whole thing that they keep on going back in time to save Supergirl And Batman, that was a good element. I'm not sure if they executed it in the best way. Kal-El, hodgepodge is the perfect description. Yes, it's a hodgepodge, inconsistent film. Ronnie Dodge, can I be honest? I thought Keaton would have been in the movie longer. Well, that's how they tried to sell it. But again, I think I kind of guessed what the situation was. But because you can work it out in the trailers, Ronnie, when Michael turns up and then there's the desert fight. And I already knew that he dies. Even before I saw the test screening, I knew he died. So I knew we're going to see him for a certain amount of time, maybe not even 20 minutes, and then he turned up at the end. But in this version, he doesn't turn up in the end. It's very messy because I did do a video about this. I said, with Gunn cutting Supergirl and Batman out of the ending, it basically leaves a gap in the film's narrative. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense that you can't save everyone, right? I get that. But the idea was that they were supposed to be in the ending, and it all looked cut short. You could tell there was something missing. John, it's hard to believe that the CW Flash done it better. Absolutely. Much better. And I didn't even like their Flashpoint, but it was better. Ronnie Dodge, I think Sasha said some of the fight scenes was cut, it was rated R. Yeah, that's what she said was the reason. I do not believe that's the reason. I think they cut the poor girl's scenes. I think she was in a lot more, she did a lot more work. Of course, they always do a lot more work, and they cut it because directors edit their movie. I get that. But I think they cut a lot of her stuff. Kal-El, the WBD execs must have sniffed half of Columbia's finest creating this movie. It's all over the place. Iwana Tinkle. So originally, would they still have died in the desert and then come back at the end? That is correct, Iwana. That's absolutely correct. They die in the desert, then they come back in the ending. And of course, Barry is very, very surprised. So that was always there. They cut the ending. But the Aquaman post-credit scene, that was always a thing. I actually saw that in the test screening. So that wasn't a Gunn thing. Charles Austin, Kal-El, yep, that uncut Raw from 1984. Kal-El, that Scarface pack. So they die and they come back again. But as I say, I don't see why Gunn was obsessed with changing the movie. And, because all he had to do is leave the movie as it is and say, look, that's nothing to do with me. I'm starting again. There's no rhyme or reason. It's not fixing the timeline this time. It was with Walter, but not with me. I'm just going to go in there fresh and start my thing. He could have just left this movie the fuck alone. Do I think it improves the box office or anything? No. But there was no need to be cutting shit out. Because it proves he's just as bad as the people who cut half an hour out of BVS, who made, who insisted in the rewrites for the first Suicide Squad. It makes Gunn just as bad as them. Ronnie Dodge, hopefully Andy has a better writer for Brave and the Bold, not Hodgson. Well, the rumours were originally that it's her, but it's not her. She's gone off. I think she's doing a Fast movie, right? Or done a Fast movie, whatever. I don't think, even though she's meant to be on Gunn's writing team, which is very worrying, I don't think you'll see her do any DC stuff anymore. John, the post-credit scene with Aquaman was so bad, it was horrible. Iwana Tinkle, the Aquaman post-credit scene was really bizarre, it was. Kal-El and his machete hacked and slashed this film to death. Ronnie Dodge, James could have left the movie alone and said, this is a part of a different universe. Yeah, it's finished. I'm starting again. No rhyme or reason. Don't use the Flash movie to create a new timeline. You just start your own timeline. That's it. The problem is because he's keeping some stuff, I suppose. But even then, you don't even have to give any excuses. This is what it is now. Then again, that would make little sense. I don't know. Ronnie Dodge, Fast 11 she's doing. Yeah, good luck with that. That's super. Kal-El, I walked out. I didn't even see the post-creds. Charles Austin, Warner Brothers Discovery will never see a billion-dollar movie again unless they bring back Nolan and Snyder. If I were them, I wouldn't come back. Well, the thing is, Charles, it's not just about Nolan and Snyder. You need to be going to like film school leavers and, young directors like they were doing in the 60s and 70s. It's not just about established directors. You've got to get people with singular visions to make movies like they used to do. Because what's going on right now is simply not working for them. And it's affecting their bottom line now. And if they don't change, and I don't think they will change, it's not just Warner Brothers Discovery, it's all of them. They simply don't understand the entertainment industry or their consumer. And that's a huge problem. Ronnie Dodge, June Part 2 will make $1 billion, I reckon. That'll be interesting. Yeah, I think that will do okay. I'm not sure about $1 billion, but I think it'll do well. I don't think that movie will be a problem, that's for sure. And that's a movie I'm really looking forward to because I really enjoyed the first movie. It's crazy. We're in such an era in entertainment full of incompetence. I think I sometimes have to pinch myself and think, is this really happening? Are these people so lackluster? I mean, are they just winding us up? Are these people trolls? Are they stoned? Are they on drugs? Have they escaped from Arkham Asylum? I don't know, because it's the same mistakes time after time. And it's Disney as well doing this now, making the same mistakes. It's like they're stuck in a rut and they don't know what to do. Kello, I'm sure I heard young Barry reference Barbie, or am I imagining things? No, you're not. One of them said, come on, Barbie, let's go party. Cringe. John, Wonka comes out a week before Aquaman 2. Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to Wonka, by the way. I mean, obviously, that is an interesting film. Let's see how it does. Kal-El, what the fuck? Iwanka Tinkle, give it a week and Andy will leave Brave and the Bold. How they can justify keeping him? Well, that's the problem. The problem is they gave him the right. Basically, he didn't write that film, Iwana. He just directed the film. Now, in terms of directing, there were some good things there and some bad things there. I agree. But to be fair to him, he didn't write that script. Hodson did. So he just had to, I mean, listen, he's not a prolific director. He's made 2 or 3 movies, 4 including The Flash. So he's very, very inexperienced. There's no question. But he's a studio director. He does as he's told. Ronnie Dodge, looking likely Spider-Man 4 comes out in June 2025, month before Superman Legacy. It's interesting, Ronnie, because of the writer's strike at the moment, my friend, we really don't know what's going to happen. I think because Superman Legacy has been written already, that's not going to be a problem. But if SAG-AFTRA, the actors union, go on strike, then that's going to affect not just Superman Legacy, but everything. So anything can be delayed, and any dates we see right now are not realistic. Kal-El, yeah, Mick, I did question whether these films are badly made on purpose. It's like it's a gag. It's like they're sitting in an office just laughing at us. Oh my God, those mugs actually made us 500 million. I mean, it's not great, but the 500 million for that shit, can you believe it? I think they must think we're absolute idiots. That's why they treat us like absolute idiots. That's why they make shit for us to watch. Because if they respected their audience, they wouldn't be delivering the shit that they are. Right, I mean, Flash was made during the Hamada. Yes, it was made during the Hamada era. Yeah, that's right. It was his plan. It was his idea. He was going to have the DCU. We were going to get the brave Batgirl, the brave Supergirl, oh, Wonder Woman, oh, and beta male Shazam. Iwanka Tinkle, release the machete cut. Yeah, I'd love to see that 4-hour cut because at least it's his film. And I want to see the 4-hour cut, and I want to see the Batfleck post-credit scene. I want to see the Cavill and Wonder Woman thing they cut out. I want to see Keaton and Calais at the end of the movie. I want to see that 4-hour cut. I want to see Andy's movie. I would love to see that movie. Now, Machete, of course, who's a liar, obviously, he even said, working with Ezra Miller was the greatest moment of his career. So that proves the man's a liar. But from what I heard about what was going on while they were making the film, anyway, but he said that the cut we saw is better than the 4-hour cut. Like shit, it is. That's not your movie. They told you how to edit together that movie, and that's why it's shit. Release the machete cut. The mushgettis. He's not a hack, is he? He's not. Although some people will call him a hack, so that maybe that'll work. They hacked. They took the machete and hacked it to death. I think someone's already said that. So I'm stealing your gag. I hope that's all right. Please don't sue me. Well, normally Saturdays are dead on here when I've done live, so this has been quite good. I think we can say it's successful. What do you mean, Mick? You ain't got many views? Better than nothing. Where are we? Kal-El, a lot of the scenes in The Flash have inconsistencies which pull you out. Whether it's the VFX or Ezra's appearance, some scenes he looks good and others he looks weighty and different. Yeah, look, I think they had a lot of problems. I think I noticed a lot of actors like that. And obviously, Ben Affleck's not credited in the film. And obviously, the lip syncing was terrible as well. But obviously, when you're putting somebody's head via CGI on somebody else's body, that's a problem. It's not just with Ezra. I'm talking about Ben Affleck as well. So the film was, look, that cut of the film was sloppily made. So, you know, movies have stages. A movie is made in stages, right? So basically you write your film, you have to basically prep it and everything, right? Because these people, everything is planned, right? So when you get to making the movie, everyone knows what they're doing. There's no, I don't know what's going on. Everyone knows their place. Well, that's how it should work. So when you've shot your movie, there's some shots you like and some shots that you don't. It's like the VFX. You start your VFX and then you do the first layer, the second layer. That's how it works. What we're seeing there is first or second layers, and that's the problem. And it's basically unfinished VFX that you're seeing. And I think there must be a cut somewhere of finished VFX, or maybe they didn't even bother finishing the VFX. Now, do you know what that film looks like to me, everyone? A film that ran out of money. That's what it looks like to me. A film that ran out of its budget. It's like they didn't want to add more money to it, so they left it unfinished. That's how it looks to me. You want to tinkle? Holy crap, I've just realised Keaton never even drove his Batmobile in the film. Oh my God, yeah, it was just there for show. Obviously they designed, I don't think they designed it to actually work. That's what I think, Ioana. But yeah, I mean, listen, we should have seen him drive it. But these are the kind of things. We didn't see Burton's Gotham. We didn't see him drive it. It's a very cheap film made look. They tried to make it, they basically were bragging. The VFX are going to be amazing. This is going to be groundbreaking in terms of technology. And the truth is, I didn't see any VFX in this movie that I haven't seen before. I mean, some of the Flash special effects were cool, but they weren't like groundbreaking. It's not like in Man of Steel. Man of Steel has state-of-the-art VFX, as does the Snyder Cut, as does BVS when we go into the nightmare future, like the kind of cinematography and stuff. But this film doesn't look like it's breaking any ground, and at no time do I think, wow, that's amazing. How did they do that? It's all very, very basic stuff. And I mentioned this morning as well, when you see young Clark running in Superman the movie, you know, imagine how they could do that physically today in camera and just touch it up with CGI. They have too many CGI shots these days, and they cannot cope with them. Bad Super. A lot of pressure on Andy to make a good Batman movie because people are going to compare it to the Batman 2. Well, Nolan's Batman movies, the Batman 2, every Batman film that's ever been made, Tim Burton, all of these directors have done great jobs. So he's under pressure, but even worse, the buck stops with James Gunn because this is all his baby. And he may not even be making the big decisions, behind the scenes. They may just be using his name to gain people's trust. It's interesting. Ioana Tinkle, totally different bat wig too. Oh yeah. Are you talking about bat wig or bat wing? I agree with you. You talk about the bat wing, I think. There were inconsistencies to the Keaton world and the Keaton gadgets, the Tim Burton gadgets. Listen, I heard people say, oh, wow, he's doing things in this film he never did in the original Batman films. I don't care. What he did in the first two Batman films were amazing. I don't need an 80-year-old version to, and it's not even him doing them. You can tell it's a stunt double. You can tell it's CGI. So what's the damn point? That's what I reckon. Oh, you did say Batwing. It's me. It's my eyesight. I've had too much to drink tonight. Totally different Batwing. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Damn, man. What's going on with me? My eyes are watering. For me, the film's an inconsistent, unmitigated disaster. So there's some good things in it, but it's a disaster at the end of the day. And basically, people could see the poor presentation in the marketing. One thing you mustn't do when you're making something is show your bad presentation, your bad VFX in your marketing. It's not really advisable, is it? Ioana Tinkle loved how much do you weigh reference though. That was cool, of course, yeah. Classic. They didn't mention Vicky Vale, did they? And they didn't mention Selena Cole, I noticed. I think it would have been cool if they used Selena in this film, if they actually had her dressed up as Catwoman. But there you go. I think this film ran out of money. Ronnie Dodge, the one moment I did love is Barry saying to Kara, I got you. And then after Barry burning himself, Kara says the same to him before flying into the storm. Yeah, that was cool, wasn't it? What I didn't understand about all that, though, Ronnie, is she went away. So when they were electrocuting him, she didn't really know he had flash powers and needed lightning. But she comes back and she just takes him to the lightning without having additional information. Or did I miss something? That bit didn't make sense to me. That seemed a bit inconsistent. Ioana Tinkle, these subtle moments like that were great. But Keaton saying, do you want to get nuts was cringe. Almost like a checklist. Yeah. And the point is, Ioana, that I don't need to see those things again. I can just watch the film and he does it better. But I said it at the time on this channel when I was making fun of it. Well, I want him to, if he's going to say it, I want him to say, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I don't want him to say, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That's a directing choice. That is a directing choice. And he was clearly told to do it differently because they didn't want him to do it the same. But basically, that's not what we want. Lenny Windsor, exactly. So if you're going to do the nuts scene, do it exactly. Or what's the point? It would be like getting Jack Nicholson in a reboot of A Few Good Men, right? And they get him to do the whole you want answers thing, right? So they get him to say, you want answers? You can't handle the truth. No, mate, you want answers. You can't handle the truth. We want the proper Jack Nicholson, right? Ronnie Dodge, I did laugh when Barry said, what can go wrong? And then Keaton saying, I think this is a crazy idea, lol. Mad Max, Lenny Windsor, spot on, mate. Mad Max, delivery is everything. Absolutely. And if as I say, You want to get nuts thing? There was no point in doing it the way they did it. But as I say, that was a director telling the actor what to do. I mean, it could have been Keaton saying, should I do it differently? Don't forget, they would have done different versions and different tones and different executions of that thing. And they made the decision to keep that one, and it didn't work. Ronnie George, I hope we see Barry's Joker in Batman Part 2. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, that's the rumours that he's going to be involved. Iwana Tinkle, Jack's living his best life. Love him. Oh, yeah, Jack Nicholson. You know what I love about Jack Nicholson, Iwana? He's nothing like any of the characters he played. He's such a lovely guy. I remember watching him in the BTS for Batman 89. He seemed so happy to be there. Clearly got paid a lot of money. It was a big deal. But there was no arrogance about the man. He was looking at the gadgets. He really, really loved doing it. And people talk about Ledger all the time, and I love Ledger's Joker. But I tell you what, don't fall asleep on Jack Nicholson as Joker. He played a frightening version of the Joker. It really was amazing. And but that's how powerful Nicholson was. But in reality, Nicholson's such a great guy, and he really was happy to be on that movie. Mad Max, Jack is a treasure. He is. John, they showed too much in the trailers. They did, man. It's like, because what's her name? Because Sasha isn't in a lot of the movie, they had that conversation about do you know what the S means? And it's like, you shouldn't have put that in the trailer. That's literally one of the few things she actually says in the whole movie. Or even when she's fighting Zod. They were showing too much. They always do that. They've done that since Man of Steel. Ronnie George, glad Michael and Tim are reunited for Beetlejuice 2. Mad Max, Nicholson is the GOAT Joker, absolutely. Mad Max, I agree, John. The trailer's shown too much. And they've always done it. They shouldn't have revealed Doomsday with BVS either. This is WB. That's what I'm saying. The people who have been there from the beginning of the DCEU are still the same bloody people making decisions. But don't get me wrong, when Snyder was there, I used to love the trailers Snyder used to put together, though, or whoever put them together. They were epic trailers. At least they were exciting. But yeah, basically they revealed the main points of the movie. That's not how you sell a film. And to be fair to James Gunn, you never see his films giving everything away. So hopefully we do see some competent decisions from him. But at the moment, I'm feeling very low in terms of like a DC connected universe. Ronnie Dodge, have you seen 3 actors are testing for Superman now? Yes, they've been putting out some names. I think David Corenswet, who's been linked for a while, who I don't think will get the role, is apparently involved. I don't even think he's even testing. I even think Gunn could be putting out fake leaks. Right, George, final 3 actors. I mean, John, I love the first teaser for Man of Steel. I love the first teaser. I remember in the UK staying up till 3 in the morning for that main 3-minute trailer. And it was amazing. That was the first time I heard Shannon say, I will find him. And I loved it. I thought, this Zod is going to be fucking amazing. And I was so excited. Mad Max, the Man of Steel Nokia trailer was fire. It absolutely was. I'm not sure if that's the one I had to stay up for, but wow. The DCEU Snyder trailers were fire. They always were fire. Ronnie George, what's your thoughts on Benjamin's score? Not overly impressed. Been listening to it basically a lot past couple of days, Ronnie. And I never wanted Benjamin to do the score. I wanted Rupert Gregson and Williams. My top 3 DCEU composers are Hans Zimmer, Junkie XL, and Rupert Gregson Williams. Rupert Gregson Williams did a great score for Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and I was very disappointed that Rupert didn't do The Flash. Basically, Benjamin Warfish, his music just sounds the same every single time, and there's not much to it. I think he did well with Shazam. I think he did better with Shazam than he did with The Flash. Charles Austin, 11 people in the chat. Smash the like for Mick. Thank you, Charles. Lenny Windsor, I agree, and people tend to forget that Man of Steel was Christopher Nolan's baby. It was Christopher Nolan's baby. Him and Goya wrote the movie. The idea came from Goya. That's why the film actually existed. It wasn't actually made to start some extended universe, but it was Goya's idea. They wrote the story together. David wrote the screenplay, and Zach directed the movie. But Zach could make narrative decisions, of course, but they all did it. Basically, you're talking about titans of industry. You're talking about, pioneers like Nolan and Goya and Snyder. And that's different shit. And it was amazing. Lenny Windsor, Snyder was the perfect choice for Man of Steel. Well, it was a controversial choice because obviously a lot of people don't like him. But yeah, he directed a wonderful movie. John, even the teaser for Superman Returns was good. Now, that was a really good teaser. Ronnie Dodge, do you think James has got who do you think James has got doing Superman's score? Well, I've got a feeling he may bring out John Williams from retirement if he's got that influence, because I saw John the other day live doing the score for Indy 5, and I think he's in fine fettle, even though he's supposed to be retiring after this score. Don't be surprised if John Williams comes back to do another Superman score. And what big news would that be? We will see. Because I hope he does. Look, my worry is with Gunn that he's going to do a mixtape. He's going to use radio music. I don't want radio music for a Superman movie. I want a symphonic score. So I hope at the very least we get that. Mad Max, I was watching a Champions League match, and in the commercials I saw the Zod warning looking for one of his own. As soon as he said Kalal, I got hyped. Awesome. Mad Max, it was a teaser. Ronnie Dodge, I'd be interested who they get to direct Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah, obviously, because we live in certain times, they'll be looking for a female director. I hope it's not Ava DuVernay. It will be interesting who he gets to do that one. I think Tom King will definitely be involved with that one. Ronnie Dodge, I'd be interested. Oh, no, I've already read that. Thank you for the likes, everyone, by the way. It's been a very busy night tonight, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's damn hot here in Cyprus, but I've still enjoyed it. Obviously, you've got to imagine talking non-stop for a couple of hours is hard work, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Mad Max, Gunn will have the Lizzie for the Legacy score. We'll have Thin Lizzy for the Legacy score. But yeah, he likes to use radio music. I didn't like the fact that they put a song in the middle of the Desert Man of Steel sequence in The Flash. I thought we needed some music. John, what were some of your favorite movie teaser trailers? Oh, wow. That's a question, and that's something I can't even think about. I used to be a big trailer man. I was never really a fan, John, of teaser trailers. I was always a fan of the central main trailer that goes on for 2 or 3 minutes. I love that. I love long trailers because I can get into them. I used to record them all on VHS when I was younger, but I can't really specifically think of any teaser trailers apart from Superman Returns and Man of Steel. Batman Begins, I think, had a good teaser as well, but I was still kind of sour with Batman and Robin, so I wasn't that excited for Batman Begins before I saw it. Oh, yes, Mad Max. The Batman 89 teaser is really cool. That's the one without any music, isn't it? Batman 89 teaser is amazing. Yes, it is. It's absolutely brilliant. You're right. I agree. No one can turn those keys unless you and I agree. Name the movie. Bet you don't know that movie. It's not superhero. It co-stars Gene Hackman. And it's not a superhero movie. We can't turn those keys unless you or I agree. Mad Max Nicholson was a scary Joker. He was nuts, mate. I liked him. He was proper good. That's what the Joker is, though. The Joker is nuts and frightening. Mad Max, Hunt for Red October. I think it is. Or is it another one? He's not in A Hunt for Red October. Or is he? That's Connery, isn't it? I'm trying to think. I forgot what it's called. It's not that one, but it's a similar film. John, remember the Dark Knight teaser? Yes, I do remember. That was pretty cool as well. I think we'll give it 5 minutes, everyone, because I am really knackered now. It's been great. I've really enjoyed tonight. It's been a lot of fun for me. Mad Max, Crimson Tide, that's it. Denzel, the Don Denzel. Now, if they cast Denzel Washington as Lex Luthor, I don't care that he's black. That's fine. It's like Larry Fishburne as Perry White. Never bothered me because it's fucking Larry Fishburne. You know, if they're icons, it's fine. And the first Denzel movie I ever saw was Ricochet with John Lithgow and Denzel. And Lithgow is amazing in everything he does. Mad Max, Denzel would be a good Lex. He would be awesome. You know, powerful actor. That's what you want. So you can cast famous people in these other roles. But I think Superman needs to be an unknown. I think that's very important. But I think they will try some stunt casting with Superman. I don't think Rosenbaum will get the Lex role. That's why he got the consolation prize of the interview. John, the Prince music worked perfectly for Batman 89. It did, and I like the Prince music, but I would have preferred a symphonic score without any of that Prince music. I'll be honest. And there was some, Danny Elfman did some great tunes for that movie. No question. There just wasn't enough of it because there was a lot of Prince songs. Bat Super, they showed early footage of Batman Cape Crusader at Annecy. Yes, any good? They've been talking about it. I haven't seen any footage, by the way. I don't know if it's out there. I don't think it's out there for the public, is it? But that's an exciting project, isn't it? And that's Nolan, Abrams, and no, it's not Nolan. It's J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, isn't it? And Bruce Timm, of course. But they described it as an ultra noir. I am so excited for it. Yes, that does sound like a great project, and I think they've sold it off to Amazon for a lot of money. So that should be awesome. Yeah, at the very least, that should make up for The Flash and all these movies. John, have you seen the movie Megan? Nope, and I won't be. Mad Max, no Kim Basinger in The Flash. No Michelle Pfeiffer. No Kim Basinger. No. They couldn't be bothered. They didn't want to add all the bits of the world. It was just basically cameo bait. That's all it was. That's all it ever was. Right, everyone, we're going to wrap it up on this Saturday night. It's 11:30 p.m. here in Cyprus. It's 9:30 in the UK. I really do hope you have a lovely Saturday night, whatever you do. This has been Movies TV Mad, Saturday Night Live with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. Smash the like button if you love me. Subscribe if you're new. Please have your say. That's super. See you next video. Thank you very much, Mad Max. Thanks, Mick. Much appreciated. And I appreciate you too. And thank you for the interactions and the likes. It's been great. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. See you tomorrow. DC Universe Daily will be back in the morning. Don't forget about it. I'll be here. Let's see if there's even more big news to talk about. We will see. See you tomorrow.